Well, hey guys, and welcome to Inspirations for Your Life. Today is Friday. It's May 15th, 2026. And what a Friday means is that we're on day 7, which means we're the end of a master topic. And don't worry, we'll start a brand new one tomorrow, which will actually be show 21. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take the opportunity to say thank you. And I want to say welcome if it's your very first time joining me here. If you've been here, well, one time, two times, 100 times, or even more, I want to take the opportunity to say, thank you, but I also want to say welcome back. It's always great to have people that enjoy the quality and content of the shows that I produce here. And so, if you have not checked out believemeachieve.com, do that after the show. I think you will find it pretty cool, pretty amazing. And that looks like sometimes I forget to close the fridge. Yeah, that happens sometimes. um, anyway, I do want to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, that if you're looking to improve your life, this is the right place to be. And if you're thirsty or you're hungry, feel free to go grab yourself, like I have an RO water here with some lemon, and it's really delicious. So, without any further ado, guys, let's get into the show. Are you guys ready for the show? Again, the show today is really an amazing show because, we've been talking about this all week, right? We've been talking about this all week. And I think, when Friday comes, I like Friday because Friday's the time when I can actually summarize the entire show. Okay. Um, and maybe, you miss some points. You can always go back and, you can go back and see that. Right. But, this is the point where I kind of sum everything up. Okay. And so a lot of people are saying to me, John, I don't get something. And, that's okay if you don't get something. But what you want to do is you want to make an effort to learn it. Okay. You want to make a good initiative to learn it. Okay. And when you can do something like that, you start to recognize miracles. You start to have epiphany moments. But I don't want to tell you that they happen like instantaneously because you know what, guys? They don't. They happen when we start to become aware of where we are and, guys, where we're going. I think that's a really key spot that a lot of people, I think, often miss. And so today's show that I'm working on here with you, I think is pretty cool because when we talk about all these things that we're doing, right? We talk about all these great things. I think a lot of people just don't realize, what potential is and how potential can really compound for their life. So, well, without any further ado, guys, let's just kick this show off because I want to get into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley. I'm a serial entrepreneur, engineer, marketing specialist, video producer, podcast host, coach, keynote speaker. Yes, guys, I am also a graduate student and a passionate lifelong learner. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so grateful to be a published author. All right, let's kick this off. Are you ready? This whole week we've been talking about, well, full control, restore is what this show is about. Today's granular topic, series 5, show 20, episode number 7. I think it's important to recognize what the master topic for the week is about. Okay. And that was how people adjust when life shifts. Yeah. So, welcome everyone to Inspirations for Your Life. If I didn't welcome you enough, today we reach the final stage in our performance system series, full control restoration. This is where attention is no longer unstable, workflow is no longer fragmented, and execution is no longer reactive. Instead, everything begins operating in total alignment. This is not motivation. This is not mindset. This is system stability at a functional level. So let's break it down together, shall we? All right. So the first point is full control restoration. And so the first thing we talk about is attention. Our attention operates under full control. When we have our attention in full control, we find that things just happen almost serendipitously. Okay. Kind of like a deja vu feeling, kind of like it just sort of flows, right? That's important. Number two, workflow operates without disruption. And when we know that, people have a higher regard for us. They have a higher regard for us because of what we stand for. Number three, guys, execution operates consistently, not just a little bit. Number four, cognitive load remains stable. It remains stable. Number five, task systems operate predictably. We've talked about that before. Number six, output systems remain structured. Decision systems remain clear. They remain clear. Productivity systems remain controlled. Input systems remain filtered. And work systems remain stable. Now, at this stage, ladies and gentlemen, the system stops reacting and starts maintaining itself to carry out what it needs to do. Structured performance alignment. Number 11, focus remains fully regulated when you're in this state, okay? And it's not something you push or something you force. It's something that just naturally feels right and aligned. Number 12, guys, execution remains fully reliable. That's a key, guys. When something can be reliable, life really switches. Number 13, guys, workflow remains, well, it remains fully structured. I think that's an important point. Output remains fully consistent, number 14. And I think that's another important point that we don't always catch, that we have that ability, that we have that premise, right? It scares a lot of people, but it shouldn't. Number 15, attention remains fully stable, regardless of what's going on around. The sky could be falling. The floor could be rising. Number 16, cognitive systems remain aligned. So your brain remains aligned regardless of the situations that you're going through at the current moment. Number 16, guys, knowing how they're aligned is key. And number 17, tasks systems remain aligned throughout, not just the brain part, but I'm talking about the actual, let's say, guts of the system and how it operates, right? That's important, very important. Number 18, guys, productivity remains stable. And that is key for this all to work. It has to remain stable. If it doesn't, well, that could be a big problem. Stability, linking into consistency, right? Number 19, execution remains disciplined. Execution remains disciplined. I know that sounds like a very hard thing to understand, but when we get it, our life really has this way of, well, has our way of changing something. Our way of changing something. Number 20, guys, workflow remains controlled. Regardless of the situation that we're in, the workflow remains controlled over and over again, regardless of what's happening. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is where consistency becomes the default operating state. And what we're going to be the default state Just sort of happens autonomously without us even being aware of it. Sustained control environment. So number 21 is this. Output remains predictable. And when we know output remains predictable, it's like, okay, we can trust things more. We can trust things more. But we might not be able to until we get to a certain level, okay? When we get to that level, things change so very much. They change so very much. Number 22. Decision systems remain structured. I said you need two things for success. You need a structure and you need consistency. If you have one without the other, you don't have success. You have a chance. You have, well, something that might have happened just once, but it's not going to be repeatable. If you don't have a structure, you don't have consistency. Number 23, attention remains self-managed. Means you're the one that's deciding whether to manage something or not manage something, okay? I think that's an important piece that many people don't understand. And the reason they don't understand it is because of where they are and what they're doing, right? I think that's an important thing to note. That's important to know. But it takes some time. It takes some time to understand what that stands for, what that means. But it might not necessarily be what you need. It might not be what you need. So you've got to research, you've got to figure things out. And then life can change. Then life can absolutely change. But it's not going to change overnight. I could tell you that now. It's not going to change overnight. And the reason it doesn't change overnight is because your perspective has to be in alignment. And when it's in alignment, you're going to see things that you didn't see before. This hits home with the concept of awareness. Awareness is not just knowing the day or the temperature or even what song is playing. Awareness is a lot more than that. It is how your internal system is connected to your outside world. It's not just one thing or one facet. It's a culmination of things that bring together something, right? When we talk about a color, we sometimes have colors that have very complex mix patterns. It's not just one color that does it. It's a mix of colors, right? That's important. Number 24, guys. Control remains internal. Control remains internal. And when the control is internal, our life starts to say, wait a minute, this actually makes sense. And it makes sense because now we're seeing something a totally different way. Okay? A totally different way. But maybe you're saying to me, John, this isn't the right thing, or I'm not quite getting this. Maybe you're not. Maybe you are. I can tell you that what you thought of yesterday is going to be different today because you've grown today. You've changed who you are. Number 25, performance remains stable. Yeah. Number 26, systems remain functional. And when they remain functional, our life has a bridge, a possibility. Okay. Number 27, execution remains optimized. Optimized. Meaning we're using the least amount of energy to put forth the greatest final outcome. That's a skill, guys. That doesn't develop overnight. That takes lots of trials, lots of tribulations. But when you've done it, guys, I can tell you this. It will awaken parts of you that you didn't even know could be awakened. Because awareness is not something we just do one time. Awareness is a constant evolution of where we are in our life. Where we are in our life is key. Number 28, guys, workflow remains aligned. Your workflow remains aligned. 29, output remains consistent. Number 30, full control restored permanently. When we think about permanently, and we think about a moment, we think about how we got to that moment, which many people say, I have no idea. And maybe you're going to say to me, John, this doesn't quite make the right presence for you. When we become aware with who we are, life changes. Not an instant, but we know that something out there is different now. Different for who we are, different for where we're going, different for our life. Different for our life. And that has a very interesting way of shaping our true potential. Our true potential. When we think about a control reset, some people think it's starting over, like, starting with a brand new blackboard or new drawing board. It's not. It's sometimes just getting rid of things that aren't working for you. I think that's an important piece, guys. The things that are working for you. And figuring out, how do you change those things in your life? How do you actually change them? I think you change them by, again, becoming aware of who you are right now. And being aware of where you want to be. Where you want to be. Maybe you don't know where you want to be. Maybe you don't know what you're striving for. I'll say one thing. You've got to change your perspective. You've got to change your perspective. Once you do this, life becomes multifaceted. It becomes easier because now we're given a way to approach a situation that wasn't even fathomed before. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the final stage where performance no longer fluctuates unpredictably. When you're getting those ups and those downs so many times, you know what that means? That means that you're not sure. You're not sure. You're not sure. And I think if this starts to be part of your daily life, you're going to start demanding more from yourself because now you're going to see and get information that was there the whole time, but you weren't paying attention to it. What this really means is what we are observing here is not improvement in effort. That's a big one. It is instead completion of a structure. When control is restored, the system no longer needs correction. It will maintain itself. You see, ladies and gentlemen, this is where high performance becomes sustainable instead of something that's just temporary. Why people never reach this state is probably one of your questions. I've thought about this too. Most systems fail before they're reaching this stage because, do you know why? Attention remains fragmented, input is uncontrolled, workflow lacks structure, decisions are reactive instead of deliberate or proactive. I think most people don't think about the situation until it hits them. Until it hits them. That's a very important thing to think about. Until it hits them. So, ladies and gentlemen, without stabilization, control never fully forms. Right? When you open a swimming pool, you have to balance the pH and balance the other chemicals, the alkaline, etc. If you don't balance the chemicals, the pool never is at the level that can be easily maintained. You're constantly spending money on different things, but really, you're just not gonna be making an impact. Not making impact. So, without stabilization, control never fully forms. And I have to tell that to you. Our stabilization allows us to build a benchmark, set an expectation. I think those are very key points in our life. So, what changes at this level? This is what everyone always asks me. When full control is restored, decision making becomes cleaner. Output becomes predictable. Workflow becomes stable. Attention no longer drifts anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not effort. No. It's an increase. This is a system alignment. Many people in life will never study this because they feel that it's not going to get anywhere. But this is actually where the gold is, guys. This is where it is. This is where it is. Practical insight. If you want to maintain this state, the key is not intensity. It is consistency of structure. There are those words again, consistency and structure. Can't have one without the other to be maintaining success. The moment structure breaks, control begins to degrade. Let me say that again. The moment structure breaks, the control begins to degrade. That's pretty cool, guys. So I ask you this question. Do you know why you're doing what you're doing? Do you know what a reset is? Have you experienced a reset? A reset's a good thing. You can do a reset on a retreat. You can do a mini hike or what have you. Even doing the breathing exercises, John's 4-2, the 4-2 method, right? You remember the 4-2 6 method? These are all ways that you can improve, but they shouldn't be something that you have to finish overnight. If it gets that intense, guess what, guys? It's not meant in your life. It's not giving up. It's saying, John, this doesn't align with who I am. It doesn't align with my core values. That's pretty amazing. So let's think about this, okay? Let's think about how full control of our lives happens only when we surrender, when we release control, when we become aware of who we are and the environment to which we are in. This is so very key. We become the awareness of the environment we're in, the people that are with us, and everything in our environment, from the furniture, from the people talking, everything. Everything. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know by now, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur and many other things. This is Inspirations for Your Life. And every day, if you could just make one little change, not a big change, just one little change, your life would be better. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is very key. Full control is not achieved through force. Many people think that if you push things down, you'll get full control, but that's not really full control. It's an illusion of full control. It's a manipulation. So it is achieved through structure that no longer breaks. Let me say that again. It is achieved through structure that no longer breaks. That's important, guys. So I invite you to check out believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations, and I'll catch you real soon. Have a good night, good day, great weekend, and I'll catch you real soon. Be well, everyone.